Hello and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm your host, Joe Scott, and I'm joined here by Tony Tonzadati. How are you, Tony?
I'm back again.
From the dead. I
Yeah.
don't know, where are you back from?
No in particular. A
Okay.
jog?
You went for a jog, did you?
I went for get a drink quest, but
Have a little sip. Alright,
yeah.
okay.
Oh.
So, should we just
Still,
go
still in lockdown? Yeah. Let's
straight
get
into the
straight
news?
to it.
There's a lot of... I wrote like halfway through the week, I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab all this news and I'm gonna thoroughly research it and I'm gonna write lots of notes for it so I can talk about it a long time. And then it got to the end of this week and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a million more news topics. I'm like, fuck me, dude. Okay, I see how it is.
So what's the reasoning behind it? Like, oh, there's not that many things I want to like really talk about.
No, I just feel like most times on the I feel like most times on the podcast I'll say something and then I'll go, I don't really know anything about this. I just thought it'd be better to actually I thought it'd be better to actually research stuff so I knew about it. Because speaking about stuff I know about, there's a new killer coming to Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
I'm
just gonna warn you now.
Fuck Konami.
We are gonna overrun if we do this.
Do you mean we're gonna overrun?
Well, whenever we talk about stuff for a long period of time and stuff we want to talk about, like we always go like way over time.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So yeah, if you don't know, Konami, fuck Konami, they have a popular game franchise called Silent Hill. And one of the most popular characters from Silent Hill is Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And he's being added to Dead by Daylight, the Smash Brothers of horror games, as a killer that you can play as. So that's pretty cool.
So it's basically every killer from like every horror franchise basically in Dead by Daylight at this point.
So Jason from Friday the 13th isn't, because Friday the 13th has its own game, but then the game can't get updated because the copyright owners of Jason doesn't want him to be in the game. And it's like a weird legal battle they're having, so they can't actually update the game. There won't be any Resident Evil characters in Dead by Daylight because Resident Evil, was it? I want to say, what is the Resident Evil Dead by Resistance? Yeah, Resident Evil Resistance exists, so we probably never get a Mr. X or a Nemesis in Dead by Daylight.
Why is it called Resistance?
Because I think the idea is that the survivors are resisting against Umbrella Corp, sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense. Okay.
The one licensed killer that I really want is Gremlins. So, and I want you to control like just a bunch of Gremlins at the same time. You just have this little horde of Gremlins just running around killing people. That would be my dream killer.
Overlord.
Overlord? I don't think I've played that game.
Okay, no, you're like a guy you're like an evil guy in a suit of armor, and like you like.
No. I don't want to be a person made of gremlins. I want to be just a bunch of gremlins that aren't connected to each other.
Yeah, it'd be like that, but you're not actually controlling anyone. You just all the gremlins.
So I know about Pyramid Head because he is iconic character from video gaming, but I've never played a Silent Hill game. So
no, never have I.
It's based in Midwich Elementary School, which I think is a Silent Hill game location.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. Not a bold move, but and also, okay, if you look at Pyramid Head, Tony, what would you say the weapon he's wielding is?
Oh.
What is it? Just look at it and go, what weapon is that?
What the fuck is that? Like a sword or like a...
Yeah. So I looked to that and I went, Pyramid Head uses a sword. He drags a sword across.
Is that not a sword?
According to his power, he's pulling a giant knife. That's not a sword.
Oh.
That's just a really fucking big knife. So I don't know if it's canon that Pyramid Head is pulling a knife. But then I got into a discussion with Dave about this, who said sometimes, because it's a Japanese game, apparently in feudal Japan only samurais could use swords. So a lot of people would
Right.
have big knives instead of swords. So they,
So
yeah.
when I said jab, it's like it's a great knife, like as in like a great sword. It's basically
So when if you've ever seen like I
it's a
don't
sword.
if you ever seen Pyramid at like an arcade machine somewhere, you know his iconic move is he like drags the giant knife along the floor. And
Yeah.
they've put that into his killer. The one thing I love, okay, there's two games that I will shout out now: Heroes of the Storm and Dead by Daylight are really good at making characters play exactly like you would
Yeah.
expect them to play. Because
In a cool way as well.
his power is exactly like they didn't just go, well, we've got an idea for a killer, we'll just throw a Pyramid Head skin on top of it. They
Hmm.
made Pyramid Head in Dead by Daylight. So he pulls his knife across the floor and he has what's called a torment power. So anyone who runs over or walks over the trail he leaves behind,
Hmm.
they will be tormented.
So I assume that slows you down, right? Like you like scraping your sword. Oh, sorry,
I'll
your
get
knife.
into that a bit later.
Okay. Okay.
But you can crouch over it, similar to the Hag traps.
Right.
There's another killer in Dead by Daylight. I know you haven't played it, but there's a killer called the Hag who puts down hexes, what are like traps, and they create clones of her, and then she can teleport to the clone. But the one
That's
way you can counter the Hag is you can crouch over them. So you can crouch over the torment trail. He has the punishment of the damned. So when you press the attack button while Rites of Judgment is active, you can perform the punishment of the damned. So this unleashes a wave of force, damaging any survivors in path. So he can like send out a force wave to damage survivors. Instead of so when survivors are affected by torment, instead of putting them on a hook, what he can do is he can use an ability called Cage of Torment. And what Cage of Torment does is it will instantly teleport them onto a randomly across the map onto a cage that is similar to a hook. So that's like one
okay.
of his
Right.
abilities. And because he's the executioner in Silent Hill, you can use Final Judgment Kill on I think it's after two hooks and they're tormented maybe. It's a short kill animation, so it's not as cool as his Mori. The Final Judgment, he just basically stabs you with the sword, and then his Mori is like more elaborate. Like I don't know if you've ever seen any of the killer's Moris. Basically, in
No,
Dead by
I've not.
Daylight, instead of if you bring a special charm to the game
Hmm.
before the game starts, it's called a Mori power. If you don't, Mori is Latin for death, basically. So if the survivor would have died by putting them on the hook, you can Mori them instead, which basically means you just pick them up and it does a cool animation and it kills them, sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
Let's go into some more of his powers. So he has Force Penance. These are his traits. So survivors who take a protection hit will be broken. Broken effect means they can't heal for 30 seconds, down to 25. Right. That can be pretty useful in a lot of circumstances when survivors are protecting other survivors that have been hooked. Trail of Torment, sorry, I think that got auto-corrected. Kicking a generator makes you undetectable for 15 seconds and reveals the generator you kicked in yellow for this time for 80 seconds cooldown. To all survivors, it gets revealed. So that's going to be pretty powerful if you want to. After you kick a generator, you just basically have no terror radius. So the way Dead by Daylight works, I explain to you and people who don't play the game. Your terror radius is a heartbeat that gets faster when you're closer, and the bigger your terror radius, the sooner that goes off when you get closer.
So, like, if it's like a larger radius, then the survivors know where you, or not know where you are, but know they're getting closer sooner.
So some survivors want a bigger terror radius because they get benefits for having you in the. And then there's a lot of stealth killers such as Michael Myers. He's like an example of a killer with a very low terror radius because his power is he watches people from a distance and that powers him up over time, sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
But basically, when survivors fix generators, you can kick them and it regresses the progress. So
Mm.
this perk will basically turn you into a stealth character for 15 seconds after you kick a generator. But the survivors will know where you roughly were because they will see where the generator was kicked.
Yeah.
So that's the caveat to the power. But I think this is actually quite a strong power that you might want to pick up. His final one is Deathbound. When a survivor heals another survivor 32 meters away, the medic will scream, revealing their location for 45 seconds, and the survivor will suffer from the Oblivious effect. The Oblivious effect meaning he can't hear your killer terror radius heartbeat sound when he's further away than 8 meters from the person who healed him, the medic. So that's a pretty... It's a little bit confusing, but basically, if somebody gets healed far away from you, and then those two people split up,
they then
the survivor that was healed, he won't be able to hear you coming, basically.
Yeah.
So that can also be a really powerful perk as well. And here I said in the loadout, the weapon was called the Great Knife. Yeah. I don't know if that's Let me look it up, actually. I'm interested.
That's what Rock Paper Shotgun calls it. Nice search. It's called the Great Knife. That's it. But it's basically a sword. Like, it's not a knife.
Yeah, I think the Great Knife is canon. Okay.
Yeah. But, like if we're going to be technical and accurate, it's a sword.
It looks like a sword.
A knife is like the item or the equipment is how it's used, and it's being used as a sword.
Okay.
I also found that I can't remember who it was. Who's this from? Man at Arms. You should try. Like he made one. I found an image. It's pretty big. It turns out it's a really big knife. If it...
I think Torment just lets you pretty much send them to Cage of Atonements and quickly kill them. I don't know if it has any other effects. I'm not sure. The thing is, I'm only reading about this. I haven't... The killer's out in the public beta environment, but he's not out yet. So this is just from what I'm reading.
How long will it... When is it properly released then?
I don't know. I don't honestly. It just says June 2020 is coming out, so sometime this month, I guess. But yeah, and then of course, usually, yeah. What did you want to say about Minecraft 1.6?
I just said it's in pre-release, so hopefully that's coming out soon.
Yeah, well, that's the dream.
That's it.
What was the bug? You couldn't go to the Nether in the Nether update.
Yeah, we're currently in pre-release 1, and the bug is if you try to go to the Nether or the end, it crashes. Right. It's a good bug for the Nether.
Oh, you sent me a picture. Hang on, let me pull this up quickly.
I just
that's the Great Knife, the Man at Arms picture.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Fucking Sonic. It's
a sword though. Like it may not be a great sword, but like it's a very big sword. I think great swords are even bigger.
What else did I want to mention? Oh no, this is the. So if you don't know, the other with the Dead by Daylight DLC, usually there's one killer, and then there's one survivor. So I guess Cheryl Mason is from Silent Hill. Again, never played it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I asked Dave. I don't think Dave played it either. He's usually my source for horror games and that sort of stuff. So, but we'll go over her survivor perks as well, because I play more survivor than killer. I have about 100, 200.
Oh, really? You prefer survivor? Or...
Well, the thing is, killer is a solo role. So I'd only play killer when I'm playing by myself. Okay. Whereas survivor, you can play with friends. I'd say probably my playtime is probably 70% survivor, 30% killer. And then Go on.
Would you play more, if there's 4 you playing, would you be more willing to play as the killer over a survivor?
If there was 5 of us playing...
Or 5, sorry, yeah.
I would 100% want to play killer. I love playing killer. Killer's really fun. I have like a load of killers really high level. Like
it's just not the same by yourself.
Well, it's just I don't play the game by myself often.
Yeah.
But when I do, I like to play killer. So
Yeah,
because
that's
if
fair
I'm
enough.
playing the game, usually I'm going to play with my friends.
Yeah.
But not enough friends to do custom lobbies. You need 5 people. So anyway, like for example, Dave, he's got, I think he has like almost 200 hours, and he's never played killer once,
All
ever.
right.
I find that so interesting. But the thing for me is, I play killer a lot because then I understand how the killer works, and then
Yeah.
like playing both sides is really useful because when I play killer, I go, if I was a survivor here, I would try and juke myself and I would go back on myself, and then I catch people out doing that stuff because I know what I would do to try and trick the
Yeah.
killer. Whereas, somebody who only plays killers
That,
doesn't know a lot of the survivor tricks that you think
yeah.
about when you're playing that role.
That's always like a thing you should do in asymmetrical games, right? It's like if you want to actually like
I always
get
try and play
better.
both sides and learn
Yeah.
the matchups. Yeah, because at the end of the day, DBD is a PvP game at heart. It's why I love DBD. It's one of the best PvP games out there. So
It to
it's
me, it's
very
like
much a game
this fun.
about mentally outsmarting your opponent.
I think from what I've heard and seen about it, like I think I don't want to play a survivor at all, but like I feel like I have to play it to actually know. I just feel like the killer's way cooler.
The thing with Survivor is you have so many more ways to play. I feel like because
Okay.
there's like bold sprinting survivors. There's like there's builds you can do. I'm kind of a stealth survivor. You will never see me ever.
I feel like though, like okay, it's great that all these things exist, but to me, like none of them are like as cool as like what
There's
the killers.
supportive classes where you can just go around healing people and helping people. I'm really bad at altruism, which is one of the trees you can go down, like helping other people. Like whenever I get quests to help people, I'm always super stealthy and I don't want to be seen, so I find it hard to help people. There's
You're just
like,
stealth by nature.
yeah. Well, I'm that guy in the horror film that's like, fuck these people, I'm getting out of here.
Oh right.
But anyway, we'll go with Cheryl Mason Survivor perk. Soul Guard. You gain the Endurance status effect, which means you can resist a hit for 4 to 8 seconds, scaling depending on the level of the perk, after being healed or having recovered from the dying state.
Okay.
And
So this
also,
is
while affected by the curse status effect, you can fully recover from the dying state. That's another benefit to this, which is really powerful. So whenever you just got up, or you just healed yourself, if the killer catches you, you basically can take a free hit for 8 seconds at the max rank, which is very powerful, especially in conjunction with Pyramid Head, who has the ability to see people who've just been healed. Because that usually
right.
what they do is when they make a killer and a survivor, they kind of try and mix and match their perks to be good against each other, which I think thematically is pretty cool.
Okay.
The second one
But
is
they still work with everything else, though.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's only work
Any of
with
the
that.
killer perks you can unlock on any killer. Any of the
Yeah.
survivor perks you can unlock on any survivor.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, you can play however you want to play, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Blood Pack. When you are the obsession are injured, you both see each other's auras. After healing the obsession or being healed by the obsession, you both gain the haste status effect, which is move speed. Basically, you get a speed boost for 4 to 6 to 8 seconds. This reduces the odds of you being the obsession. If you are the obsession, the blood pack deactivates.
Okay.
So there's lots of perks in Dead by Daylight that feature around one person in the lobby being the obsession of the killer.
Yeah.
For example, Michael Myers has a lot of perks to do with his obsession, and like he's interesting. Michael Myers is one of my favorite killers because he's a really interesting killer because a lot of the time you want to just stalk the survivors and let them get away because he becomes very much like the films. He becomes very obsessed with one survivor, and he wants every time you let them get away, you become more powerful, sort of thing.
Right.
But that's how the obsession thing works. But I think this obsession perk could be really powerful. Because of course you're always going to be healing each other, and so if someone's the obsession, then you're both going to get that really nice 7% move speed buff, which is really cool. And it reduces your chances of being the obsession, which is good, because then the killer won't tunnel you as often. Because there's a lot of obsession perks that are like, every time you hit or kill the obsession, you get a bonus. So
it's like it's this more like shifting around, having a new obsession then.
And then the last one is Repressed Alliance. Repressed Alliance activates after repairing generators for a total of 80 to 60 seconds. When repairing a generator while repressed, Alliance is active, press the active ability button to call upon the entity to block the generator for 30 seconds, after which Repressed Alliance deactivates. The affected generator will be revealed to all survivors by a white aura. I looked at this immediately and went, why the hell would you want to do this? And then I thought about it for a bit. Basically, what you're doing is you're repairing a generator and then you're blocking it off for 30 seconds, which, when you first think about it, you go, why as a survivor would you want to block off a generator? You were repairing the generator to escape. But one thing this does is it gives you the ability to stop the killer from kicking a generator that's about to be repaired. And someone pointed out, I think on the Reddit, from what I was reading, it actually counters Pop the Weasel quite well. Pop the Weasel is a very popular clown perk that a lot of killers use, and what Pop the Weasel does is it, after you hook a survivor, the next generator you kick is instantly regressed by 25% of its total progression.
Oh, right, okay.
But it's only active for 40 to 60 seconds after the survivor is hooked. So if you're able to time this well, you can kind of block off the Pop the Weasel from being able to be activated. That's like a good way to counter it, because Pop the Weasel is a very strong perk, and this kind of gives you a bit more of counterplay against it. It's kind of like Pebble Throw. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about Pebble Throw.
I remember Pebble Throw.
If you remember, I think he's Adam is the name of the survivor. I'll just pull him up now. Where is he? Adam.
I can't remember what we decided. Like, I feel like I still thought it was shit, but then you're like,
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
The problem is, Adam Francis. There he is. The problem with Repressed Alliance and Diversion is that they're very bad in the hands of bad players, but very strong in this. It's a very high skill cap perk, I think, because knowing when to use it is going to be very important.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I just
so you know, I immediately unlocked Pebble Throw to get on all the survivors.
I just feel like thematically this one's cooler than Pebble Throw.
I think there was so many memes on the Dead by Daylight subreddit when this came out, and it was always just like, the killer thinks he can destroy me. I'm going to throw pebbles at him. You don't really throw it. Well, the thing is, it's like it's the idea is it's kind of like a stealth game where you throw a can in a different direction and it sets up a loud noise.
Yeah.
The thing you need with Diversion
I guess in the context of stealth, that makes more sense.
You would need like a Dwight put. You would need like Bond, because you would want to know where your other survivors are. Because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to throw a diversion where somebody is, because then that's just going to fuck over your teammate. It's a very like Repressed Alliance and Diversion are very double-edged sword perks, and I think in the right hands can be very powerful, but in the wrong hands can be very bad. So yeah. Anyway, that's Dead by Daylight. Let's talk about some Tony news. Anno History Collection. Are you interested in this?
Yeah.
So we've got 4 games that are optimized to run on newest systems up to 4K. It seems like a GOG style.
Yeah,
just get it to run kind of job. Yeah. So it's going to be Anno 1602, Anno 1503, Anno 1701, and Anno 1404, and their expansions will all be included in this bundle.
Yeah. Normally, I'll be honest with you, Anno's always been really good at like once the game's been like once all the DLC's been released, like within like a couple of years, like even like a year, like all the DLC's come. Yeah, it's good to say all bundled together. It's like the
anti-Civ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Civ eventually gets them on sale as well, but
hasn't Civ 6 been out for like 2 years and they're still like selling their first DLC like full price?
Pretty much. I feel they're not doing I don't think they're making as much money as they want to, though. I think they're
Well, they did
right.
the Epic free stuff, didn't they, to get people to
Yeah,
buy the DLC? But the thing, from what I understand of the Epic deal, is Epic pays the devs for every copy that gets claimed as if it was a
yeah.
sale. Is how I understand it.
That's why I understood of it as well. But yeah, back to Anno though. Like, yeah, my history with Anno is like I started like Lewis from the Ozcast. I watched Lewis and Sips play it like on stream.
Right.
I can't remember if I watched like the VOD of it or if it's actually the stream.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh my god, Anno 2070 looks amazing. Like, bought it. I got Andy to Halo Andy, not Hearthstone
Halo.
Andy.
Yeah,
He bought
Hearthstone
it.
Andy's dead.
Hearthstone Andy's gone.
Yeah.
We played that like quite a bit actually. That was really fun. That was great fun. And then it's like, and I was like looking into it. And it's like, oh, these older games are like actually like in the past. Like that's really cool. Like I just assumed like Anno was like a futuristic. So it's cool that these because I think Venice, I think it's the one. The Anno. Which one's the Venice? I can't remember. I think it's.
I know nothing about
Any
Anno.
one of these could have a Venice expansion. One of these had a Venice expansion that people really liked, and I really wanted to go and try it.
Okay. Will you be getting
So I recently bought Anno.
Will you be getting this collection then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
For sure. I think I already bought like another Anno on Steam, and I was like, oh, I guess
You can pre-order it now. Let me just check when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Soon. This month. The 25th of June. It's going to be £34 on the Ubisoft store.
So. Oh, yeah. I normally buy everything through the or try and get a key for the Ubisoft store. I think the last time I bought it on Humble.
Right. Next trailer. Toy Soldiers 2 Finest Hour's been announced. I don't know if you remember this game. Jesus Christ, it's loud.
I don't remember this game at all, no.
The original Toy Soldiers was quite popular. I remember, like, I think it was Rooster Teeth playing it. Basically, it's like a army toy soldier kind of game.
It's like a tabletop toy soldier game.
Yeah, it's like tabletop, and it's kind of like tower defense. But the thing is, you could go in and control individual units, and it made it really interesting. It was like this tabletop, kind of World War II style.
It's such an interesting look. I'll give them that.
It has that very much tiny toy soldier kind of feel. But this is the sequel. I thought, from what I saw of the first game, it looked really good. So I'd be interested to play this one as well.
Why are these flags squares? I feel like flags shouldn't be square.
Excuse me?
What the hell's going on here?
Oh, you're saying they should be rectangles?
Yeah, they look really weird as squares. Okay.
So I think maybe you took it in turns, maybe defending certain maps, and then sometimes you attacked certain maps. There's also Toy Soldiers HD and Toy Soldiers Cold War HD as well. If you want to play the originals. But this one is going to be World War II. I
think I'm gonna need an actual game. I need to see gameplay of it properly, not just like in a trailer form. I'm so confused.
Right, look at Toy Soldiers 1. Okay, look at the screen now, because this is a trailer, but this is kind of explaining how it's kind of like putting units down tower defense, but then also you control individual units, and it's kind of like tower defense, wave defense sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is this helping at all? This footage?
Yeah.
And then I think you would get like quests like get so many plane kills, and that would give you bonus money and stuff like that. And there was like,
I'm not looking at like another searched like another video like of the first game, I guess 2012 gameplay.
Yeah, it was a while because I was watching a Rooster Teeth video. I think it was like on the Xbox Live Arcade or whatever it was at the time. It was like where it was mainly, and then I think it came to Steam.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's HD versions of it that you can play. There's also the Cold War expansion as well. But this is the second. So this one is much more World War II. So you're going to have survive Dunkirk. You're going to siege the beaches of Normandy, battle the Imperial Navy in the Pacific, and the dreaded arsenal of the secret Nazi weapons.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought I'd mention this. It's a game I remember. I thought the first one looked good, so the second one I think should be pretty cool to play. We actually getting another view button advertisement in chat. This has happened before.
Yeah. The bots are taking over. They're everywhere.
All right, let's talk about Sludge Life, Tony.
Yeah.
If you don't, so Devolver Digital was publishing a game called Sludge Life, which, if you just look at some of the promotional material, I couldn't tell you what it was about. But then looking more into it, it kind of seems like a open world kind of graffiti game.
Yeah.
And the thing they're doing is it's free for a year on Epic. I've never seen this before.
No, I don't
So
understand.
if you basically right now it's free to pick up, but in a year's time it won't be. I understand there's a Switch port in the works, but it's not out yet.
I guess if it's gonna be the thing, like if someone claims it within the year, like Epic will pay them. Like, how much?
Yeah.
It was like only like £15 when it's not going to be free. I think.
Yeah, I think around £11 or something. I can look it up.
Yeah.
But for me, it kind of reminded me of Jet Set Radio in a way. It seemed like
a little bit.
It was you kind of going around this town graffitiing.
Winners don't do zooms.
£12, yeah.
Those bloody zoomers are at it again.
But this is why I love like Devolver Digital. They just publish such interesting games. They're just like, yeah, we'll publish it. Like Devolver Digital and Humble and Tiny Build. Always got interesting stuff. So
I think I'm always more interested. I think Tiny Build's good, but I'm always like super interested in Devolver Digital.
So the new Total War game, Total War Saga Troy, that's going to be free to keep for one day on Epic when it comes out on the 13th of August 2020. So if you want to, that's another free game.
24 hours.
Epic. Yep. You know, I'm always talking about Dead Island, how good the Dead Island 2 trailer was, and it never came out, and the Dying Light came out instead, and everyone forgot about Dead Island 2. Apparently a 5-year-old build of Dead Island 2 leaked onto the video game board on 4chan. And people have been playing it and uploading footage of it. And some of the devs who worked on it even said, like on Twitter, like, I worked on this for years before it was cancelled. I can't believe that I finally have footage for my portfolio now.
Oh my God, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so just take.
Yeah, I always feel like I swear game devs get shafted like every turn. Like they get shit times. They may or may not get better like money, but then it's like, oh, we can't give you any like information. We can't give you like any evidence of like what you've done because you have to sign this NDA, or oh, we're just going to delete the information so you can't show it. Oh, it's been cancelled. Like I suppose they always get.
The thing with this game is it actually looks like it may have been pretty far in development. It looks like a lot of stuff is finished when it comes to gameplay, but I guess maybe it was running on the Riptide engine or the original Dead Island engine. Yeah.
Are you saying these green rocks aren't finished?
This is a dev build. So this is a dev area. The player's never meant to see this.
Yeah.
I think the nail gun's really interesting. The thing for me is I've played the original Dead Island and I've played Dead Island Riptide, the which was like basically Dead Island 2.
So that one you finished really quickly?
It was on a free to play weekend, and I played like half the game in like a day, and I was like, I don't need to finish this. I don't need to buy this game. It's really short and it's not very good.
Do you rate Dead Island 1 highly?
I rate Dying Light highly.
I remember. Okay.
Dead Island is okay. It's one of those games that's an okay co-op game with friends. But if I'm saying, I would say if you wanted to play a good zombie co-op game, just play Dying Light. It's the much better game.
Is there anything that Dead Island does that Dying Light, or is it just like
No, they're very similar. Dying
Light is way more interesting to me anyway.
Dying Light has like the much more interesting movement system.
Yeah.
It has the grappling much more interesting story. I think the original Dead Island 1 sold a lot based on the trailer.
Mm.
and I think Dead Island 2 hype is a lot on the trailer as
I
well.
I
So
still don't understand the hype between these two trailers either. Like, I don't understand what people liked about it. I'll be honest with you.
I thought both of them were really good. Like,
Yeah,
but
I
they're
thought
just
both of them
not.
were. I thought both of them were good. I didn't
They just
think they
had
were
nothing to do
really
with gameplay at all. So,
no. They were like they're teaser trailers and like concept trailers, I guess,
anyway,
which is fine.
this does look good. I'd be interested to play this, but this is never going to get made, probably. Even though I think they've said, yeah, Dead Island 2 is definitely still being made. We're going to make it. It'll come out in like 20 years or something, probably.
Yeah.
I think Dead Island 2 is dead, and I think this build being uploaded was just to say, you know what? I'm a dev. I spent a lot of time on this, and no one's ever going to fucking see it. I might as well just
Yeah,
upload
okay.
it.
I've got a conspiracy theory for this, actually.
Go on, then.
What if it's not being worked on, right? But it could possibly be worked on at any moment, but like they haven't been given the green light to do it. So they're like, okay, fuck it. We'll leak it to them, and if it like a big like, oh yeah, we want to see this, maybe we can like get whoever owns the rights to like go, yeah, let's make this, let's actually complete it.
Okay. Interesting theory.
Should I keep my tinfoil hat? Or...
Yeah, it's big conspiracy. Anyway, let's go into quick news. Sea of Thieves has finally added checkpoints to Tall Tales. They just did a really nice quality of life update. The game is now on Steam, so if you want to purchase the game and play it on Steam, you can play it now. You still need to use a Xbox Live account because of the Microsoft Store. The servers are built to be played with each other, so you'll still have to use the Xbox Live account.
Before I couldn't play it, but now I can play it, right? As
I don't know.
I
would assume yes, because it's on Steam, but beforehand it was Windows 10 only.
Yeah. Have a look, it should be like in the operating system minimum specs, right? It says OS Windows 10 still.
Yeah, so you might still need Windows 10.
Yeah.
Which you said you were going to update to, but never did.
Yeah, I will.
Someday.
Not with this computer, I'm going to build a new one.
But I think you would like this update.
Yeah, it looks like far more less annoying.
One of the most annoying thing about the Tall Tales update was that in order to progress the next part of the story, you would have to take an object and then use it for the next part. But if you lost it, or you died, or you went off, you then couldn't use that object again that you needed for the next part of the story.
Right.
So what they're adding now is like a locker where you can save story items, basically, and you can go on and so there's actually a lot better. Like, I think on the final mission of the Tall Tale, I think I showed you footage of this, me and Dave got attacked as we were handing in like the final mission piece.
Yeah, I remember
for one of the Tall Tales, and we just, I think like I quickly crashed the ship in and took it into the dock to hand it in, and Dave jumped on their ship and killed them.
Yeah, did Dave like run after
I was
them, like actually defeated them?
But I know to you that would be like, oh, it's just so stressful, I hate this. But to me, I find that stuff super exhilarating, like heart-beating kind of stuff. Like any moment I could lose this stuff, sort of thing. But
yeah,
this is kind of more for like, because I think there's a big divide between a lot of players are like me, and they're like, oh, I love like whenever I'm doing something, there's always someone on the server tracking me down, or PvP and stuff. And there's another half of people like, I just want this to be a PvE game. I just want to, fight monsters and go and grab treasure. I don't want to deal with people griefing my ship.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
My problem is like I don't like the PvP side because like I find that how people interact with other people, I find it annoying.
Well,
whereas PvE, like you can like tailor make it.
I find it super interesting because one of the best ways to play the game is to actually form an alliance with as many ships as you can, and it becomes a lot about democracy and whose alliance am I going to join, because there's 3 different alliances on the server, and we're all trying to become the big alliance, who then has all the ships doing the missions, and we all share the gold.
I still would prefer the alliance system with NPCs and like actual like different pirate.
There is reputation with NPCs. There is fishing in this game, and there is a specific fishing faction that you earn XP by catching fish.
I prefer PvE way better. I just feel like they could have.
It's a mixture of both, and that's what I like about the game.
Yeah, but I feel like adding like the AI to be able to do it added even more emotion to it. And I just feel like they didn't want to do the work; they had no time to do it because it is a lot of effort to like try and get AI to do all of these things into your game.
AI does do these things. Just AI will
No,
never be
like,
humans.
no, true, but I wanted it to be more like humans. I don't think it's not quite enough. Like they're using humans to fill in the gaps that I want, whereas I want it to be more AI driven.
Okay. There was a summer sale on GOG. It is going on for another week or so. What's the date today?
Yeah, it's like 5 days more. It's like the 12th of June. I thought it finished.
The 15th of June is when it
It's 15th of
finishes.
June,
So
isn't it? Okay.
there's 3,000 deals up to 95% off. It started on May 27th to June 15th. So if you want to pick up some GOG DRM free games, check out the GOG sale.
Yeah.
The Steam Game Festival. I've talked about this before. There's another demo festival showing off new games coming out in lieu of all the live events being cancelled. It will now take place 1 week later than it was scheduled to be. So it's going to be June 16th to the 22nd instead. Now it's been delayed a week. There is a Destroy All Humans demo on GOG. As part of the GOG festival, they're also doing a demo festival. It seems like they've teamed up with THQ Nordic because you can now play the brand new remastered Destroy All Humans. I know that it's not just a HD remake, they've also tweaked some of the gameplay to make it less annoying. I've never played the original, so I can't go into too much detail, but there will probably be a spotlight of this out within the next couple of weeks. So look out for that. Desperados 3 as well, another THQ Nordic game. There's a demo of that up on the GOG store. That's another interesting game that's coming out. Check that out if you're interested in the Desperado series or just check it out. There's a Resolution demo on GOG and Steam. So if you want to check out Resolution, you can try out the demo on GOG, and it's on Steam as well if you want to try out the demo on Steam. Metro Exodus dropped de novo support. So
thank God.
So there's now no more de novo on that, and then of course, Metro Exodus is now out on GOG because they dropped the DRM, so it can now be sold on GOG. If you haven't seen Valve's Arcane documentary, highly recommend it. Not just because it has footage of an unreleased Half-Life game, which is mainly what I was interested in, but the whole thing is... I love no-clip documentaries. Danny Odia is really good at making these crowd-funded documentaries, really good. It's really interesting to see the history of Arcane. I'm a big Arcane fan. I love, stuff like Dishonored and Prey and stuff like that. So yeah, but there was actually 3 cancelled games in the documentary. There was one that was a really interesting kind of PvP game called The Crossing. There was like these 2 worlds. One was like a night world, and one was like a futuristic world, and people could travel between them. And you were playing this game, but then other people could invade your world, and it's kind of like an asymmetric game. Because one person was the knight and he was very powerful, but then the other 4 people were like, they had guns and stuff, but they had to work together to destroy him. And I thought that game was really interesting, but it never got made because the publisher they were trying to work with was like fucking them over basically and trying to get them to sign an awful contract. Then there was LMNO, which was actually a bunch of studios working together with Steven Spielberg to make an Alien game. With like EA and stuff that never came out. That was really interesting to see. And then finally, I've probably talked about this before, but if you don't know, Valve basically went out to a bunch of different studios when the episodes of Half-Life were being made, and they wanted to see if they could get a Valve quality game made by other studios by just going, hey, try and make a standalone game in this time frame. And we'll see if it's worth the cost, basically. But basically, the Ravenholm game, from what I saw of it, there's tons of really great stuff in there. Like the puzzles with the electricity. You had like a nail gun and you used that to solve electricity puzzles. And there's these great, it was very much inside Ravenholm, and there was these great like zombie apes that like chased you through the dark, and then if you shined your flashlight on them, they would like run away. There was very much more Father Gregory, I think, an underdeveloped character in Half-Life, and his like living through Ravenholm, and how he was slowly like he was eating the head crabs, and he was injecting himself with like the head crab juices to try and make himself immune to becoming a zombie. But then they showed like images of what was going to happen in the story,
right?
And he was going to like. It was very much the entire game was you in Ravenholm with Grigori, and you were very much alone with him. And then slowly over time, you would see like Grigori over time was going to start mutating from all of these like head crabs and stuff he'd been eating and extracting them from. And I think he was actually going to become like the villain of the game in the end, sort of thing. Okay. So that would have been really interesting to see.
Yeah, been cool.
What else was I going to say about it? There's so much to say about this. You got to watch the documentary. Oh, another thing. Grigori always has all these contraptions made out of millions of mechanical things and batteries and stuff. And the joke was that every time you see a car in Half-Life 2, it's missing its car battery. And the joke was Grigori had all the car batteries because he was hoarding them all to make all of these like contraptions to keep the zombies out, basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say about
the car.
One of the reasons that may have been to do with why this was cancelled was there was a subprime mortgage crisis that hit the USA around the time that this was being made, which created a difference between euros and US dollars. And Arcane was mainly based in France in their Lyon studio. So Valve decided to pursue their other zombie game, which, if you don't know, was Left 4 Dead. They were also working on another third-party game about zombies called Left 4 Dead, made by their USA team, Turtle Rock Studios. So from what I understand, it would seem that it made more sense to keep the USA company on to make Left 4 Dead instead of outsourcing to the French company when there was such a big difference between the euro and the US dollar price. And it didn't make sense to keep going on with the project.
Yeah.
So they chose to keep working with Turtle Rock Studios. So I find it really interesting to me that there's like Universe A and Universe B. Universe A, Half-Life Ravenholm gets made, but we never have Left 4 Dead. And Universe B is that we live in, Left 4 Dead was made, but Half-Life Ravenholm was never made. Like, that's how I kind of think of, like, I felt like we lost a lot when we never got this game, but then I'm thankful that Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 were made as well.
Is there Universe C where they just went, fuck it, we'll do both?
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Valve goes bankrupt. EA Origin is the number one... No, this is the evil universe. Uplay is the number one distributor of games. Steam doesn't exist anymore.
Uplay worse than EA.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? EA's the good guys these days.
Yeah, they're okay. Like, they're still... I think
Andy says, Universe D, End of the World in 2012, and nothing gets produced. Yeah, but Universe D is like a third-party thing. And
yeah, fuck that one.
Well, speaking of Half-Life, Half-Life Alyx just got an update, 1.4. They've added fluids to bottles, as well as other small bug fixes. This is pretty impressive. Zoom in. So basically, I think it was mainly one developer. He worked on a fluid shader, because a lot of the bottles in Half-Life Alyx didn't have any liquid in them, but this guy worked on this fluid shader and added a bunch of liquids to Half-Life Alyx. You can see it in the wine bottle. People have already started modding in Baja Blast Mountain Dew bottles, which I find kind of funny, but it's a small change, but I think it has a big impact because of how more realistic it makes the world feel, sort of thing.
Yeah, it looks way cooler, yeah.
But yeah, that's a really cool update to that game. Rust just made a mobile companion app, which is going to allow you to get raid alerts on your phone, and you'll even be able to control electronics from your phone. So when you go onto a server, similar to what we're talking about with Sea of Thieves, a big server with PvP on, you want to protect your base from raids, but you may not be at your computer, or you might be going to bed. This will give you alerts, so you don't have to constantly be sitting at your computer. You'll be able to like control turrets and traps and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. BlizzCon 2020 is cancelled. Obviously, they were looking for a reason, and they got one in a pandemic. Heavy Rain.
They're looking for a reason.
Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Becoming Humans are coming to Steam on June 18th. So if you're a David Cage fan like us, David Cage fan,
David Cage.
Yeah, you can play those on Steam in the next couple of weeks. The new track Mania will use an annual subscription model and have a free-to-play version.
Hold up, subscription.
Locking online rooms and customizations against a $30 per year subscription. Although Ubisoft said,
that's not a subscription.
Trackmania is not subscription based. You just pay for it multiple times. To which everyone said, that's a subscription.
It's like my interpretation was like, they're like, it's not a subscription. It's a insert subscription definition here. You got me.
They went on to say that the managing director Hylas clarified on Twitter that the Track Nations remake is in fact subscription based, but in Trackmania you'll be able to keep the 100 official plus 365 tracks of the day after your yearly access is revoked.
It still seems really dumb. Surely, why does this need to be like have any sort of system like that though? Like, surely, like a skin sort of DLC, like adding new stuff later would make more sense for this. But I guess this is.
But he just said that this is how it makes it possible for developers to keep supporting games years and years and on. This kind of subscription model, saying like you'll still be able to access a lot of it on the free-to-play version, but this is more so for fans, and especially the 3-year model. It's kind of more for people who don't want to do, the reoccurring payment.
Right.
Want to get the cheaper deal because they're going to be playing the game anyway. But for me, I honestly think this is not good. And I think they really poorly explained the pricing scheme. And then they went and said it's not a subscription, and then everyone's like, yes, it is. And they're like, well, it is a subscription, but that's not the point.
That's not the point. I don't. Yeah, I think there's other ways. Like, I understand what they're saying, but Ubisoft makes so much money that shouldn't be a thing.
Anyway, so there was a new update for GTA 4, the Complete Edition. If you don't know, a bunch of radio stations had their songs removed because of they lost the licenses to them. GTA 4 added them back, and then people reported that their saves have been corrupted. It fucked up the game, and then GTA 4 was like shit, and they rolled back the update. So I don't know if they're going to try and redo the update without corrupting people's saves. Maybe they'll try and add the old music back. GeForce Now, I don't know if you've been tracking the GeForce Now news story, but
I love it.
A bunch of games are saying we don't want GeForce Now and removing it from their games. GeForce Now going forward, only the games that are opted into will be available on the service. Those that are not opted into as of May 31st, which of course already passed, will now be removed. So it's an opt-in service now. It's like Steam Remote Play. Is an opt-in service. So now they're trying to basically secure people to say these games will definitely stay on the service because they've been opted into. Trying to say, look, we have 2,000 games on the service if you want to use it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think here's my take on this. I feel like if you are a developer and like you own your game, I would argue you should opt into it because all you're doing is installing your game on Steam account.
I think the thing is that a lot of developers saw GeForce Now and went, wait, people are going to be able to play this game for free. And I think like loads of devs didn't understand what it was. But in response, Steam has actually teamed up with GeForce Now. Steam Cloud Play has entered beta testing with GeForce Now support. So developers will have the ability to officially support or not support GeForce Now integrations into their games and be able to do this through Steam. Valve is helping publishers understand what game streaming is. So they've put out some Q&As on their blog post Question: will I be paid differently for sales on my game on Steam if I opted into Steam Cloud Play? The answer is, of course, no. You will still be
No.
paid the same way you are paid now.
That makes sense though, because like Valve, like is like you sell your game on Valve, right, or on Steam, sorry. So the money goes through that, but then like the end user who wants to use GeForce Now has to then pay. There's a free version, but then if you want the full version, you pay for it. So that's how they get their money.
So
So
they said Steam
I feel
Cloud
like weird
Play
people think
is
that,
simply
right?
giving Steam users more options on where and
Yeah,
how they play their PC games. It's similar to how players play games from their Steam library through Steam Remote Play, which is already a
yeah,
thing that exists that I've used, or an additional computer. Valve continues to build features and server capacity for players, and when developers opt into GeForce Now, they are now opting into cloud streaming hosted by Valve. So this to me is suggesting that the company may have plans for its own cloud streaming service.
yeah.
So it seems like Steam might want to get into this as well.
It makes sense
Yeah.
for some people as well. Like, I think more people would like get PC stuff if they could just like buy a server. They don't have to, or I guess rent a server to some extent.
All right,
And
we're
then
almost
not
an hour
have a
in, and
PC
I'm still
themselves.
in the quick news. So let's try and get through some of this.
We're nearly through.
We're still in quick news. Darkest Dungeon has launched a PvP mode. It was not an April Fool's joke. The Butcher's Circus is separate to the single player campaign, so you will not lose your hero if you take them into this PvP mode. Gang Beasts is splitting with Double Fine and becoming self-published. They said it's to do with Double Fine's Microsoft Xbox Studio acquisition and wants to focus on new update, basically. They're saying that since Double Fine got acquired by Microsoft, they're kind of forgetting about Gang Beasts and they want to go their own way. And they're trying to push out this next big update for Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts is a really weird development. Like, they always seem to go up and down. Like, they keep changing maps like massively, and they keep like sometimes the servers work good, and then sometimes the servers work bad, and then they keep changing like how the physics works. Because now it has like a exhaustion. They used to just be jelly physics, go crazy, and then they were like, we need games to have like exhaustion bars, so you can only throw someone for so long, and then you trying to make it more tactical. And I'm like, that's not the point of Gang Beasts. It's never been the point of Gang Beasts.
What are they doing?
Halo 3 Flight will start this month. Yeah, it will start in June. So Halo 3 is getting full customization rather than presets. Halo 3 Forge is going to be expanded on. There's big news. Input-based matchmaking is coming, and there will be cross-play news as well. Lots of people are complaining about aim assist on the Xbox controllers on the on the multiplayer. Lots of people really don't like playing on PC and playing against people on controllers because of this very strong aim assist. So Fortnite's been doing this for years. Input-based matchmaking, good idea. People on keyboard and mouses go against people against keyboard and mouses, and people on controllers go against people on controllers. That makes sense to me. And also double keybinds will finally be possible. Minecraft Dungeons first DLC, The Jungle Awakens, will be out in July. 3 new missions. There will be new monsters, new weapons, armor, and artifacts. So if you're looking for Minecraft Dungeons content, it is coming. Because Minecraft Dungeons is actually the best-selling game on the United States eShop. It has overtaken Animal Crossing. Because you were saying to me, who the hell is playing this game? And I said, kids, lots of kids on their Switch.
Lots of kids, yeah.
Paradox is opening a Barcelona studio, led by Europa Universal's designer Johan Anderson, and also Paradox is going to sign a collective bargaining agreement with labor unions. It says it wants to make peace with all the unions and try and move forward to make a better collaboration between developers and publishers, and try and create better job security for people, basically.
Yeah.
So they're doing this in Sweden at the moment. So
I feel like Paradox have always kind of respected the developers. I don't know if there's like any like horror stories. I assume there's still like crunch issues and things. I'm hoping that this will mitigate this.
About it.
But they seem to be one of the better ones when it comes to like developers.
Because speaking of the Steam Cloud and GeForce Now, EA Play is coming to Steam. EA's just added a bunch of EA games to Steam. I don't know if you saw this. You can now buy, I think Dragon Age Acquisition actually went into
Acquisition.
Inquisition. Sorry,
That was Frankie version.
yeah. The Acquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition went into one of the best-selling games on Steam. Yeah, because of it being added. You can
Plants vs Zombies.
Oh yeah, big time. Battle for Neighborville, gonna get that on Steam. The new Need for Speed game, the Unravel games. Fee is now on Steam. One of my favorite little artsy platformers. You can now play it on Steam. Highly recommend it. I love that game.
This is like, okay. You put this in quick news, but I'm actually really excited. I realize because in quick news doesn't make it necessarily better or worse than other news, but I'm just saying I'm actually really excited about this one.
Yeah, this is really cool, but I don't think there's much to say about it.
No, that's why it's in quick news. I'm just really happy that I guess Fee I completely forgot about, but yeah, like Dragon Age and Fee.
It's shit news, JK. Well, you won't. They said Apex Legends, when it comes to Steam, you can launch it natively through Steam, but I think every game on here at the moment is like a Uplay deal, where you buy it on Steam, but you still launch it through Origin. Is how it works. So
it's a slightly better like friend list like integration though, where like it actually like says what you're playing on Steam and not just Origin.
Because I think the only one that is going to be you don't have to launch it through Origin is going to be Apex. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah.
But there has been people reporting that buying EA game on Steam is actually overwriting it on your Origin account because they already own it on Origin and then they have to launch it through Origin. So it's actually overwriting the game.
Interesting.
Yeah. I assume it's a bug, but maybe not.
For the time being, don't buy it if you already own it, I guess.
Because this is actually similar to how it works on Uplay. Because if you own a game on Uplay, you don't... It's different to owning it on Steam, I think.
Yeah, I think when you're on Steam, like, what's happening is, like, you have to link it to Uplay, which means it actually gets attached to your Uplay account. So when you launch it, you launch Uplay in, like, a special way where it launches the game through Uplay. But like, if you sign out any time, it's like, oh no, you have to sign in again. So it's not like Steam knows it.
EA has released the source code to Command and Conquer Remastered Collection under the GPL 3.0 license. This is why I said EA are the good guys now, and you kept saying, why are EA the good guys? EAs are pretty good guys now.
They still want loot boxes in their FIFAs though, but sure, they're better. I'll give them that.
Well, everyone wants loot boxes these days.
That's fine, but I'm not going to claim anyone to be good guys until they stop being completely shit. So they're doing better.
What about Valve?
What about Valve? Yeah, I think
they have more loot boxes than most publishers. Yeah.
I'll say that I'm going to treat EA more like Valve, whereas like I would treat the good stuff. Like I won't mention their bad stuff when they do good stuff. How about that?
Andy said EA are a polished turd. They're getting it.
But isn't Valve?
EB Games Australia will begin issuing refunds for Fallout 76 to eligible customers. This is because the game was released in such a poor state in Australia that consumer laws protect the consumer if a product is damaged. Fallout 76 is damaged goods, people.
I think we could all agree on that one.
It did not live up to the advertising material. This was a scam. So if you are an Australian citizen and you bought it through EB Games, you may be entitled to a refund. Slay. This is my favorite news of the week personally. Slay the Spire is coming to iOS this month. Android will be soon TM. They don't know about Android yet. I think it's easier to get games on iOS than it is to get games on Android. It seems like.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's like because like I know like Linus like has talked about like the environment of like programming stuff like iOS, Mac and stuff like is a lot easier.
The thing that iOS is so much easier because it's a closed system, and there's
Yeah.
only so many phones, and then they very quickly moved
So
the iOS versions to only support certain phones.
my understanding is it's like exactly like Android is more like you're trying to like code for PC because like there's so many different SKUs, and then like Apple
iOS,
iOS is like, oh, it's just
yeah,
like
it's
a
like
couple of
coding
phones.
for a console. There's
Yeah,
only
and
so
and,
many
and
specs.
Apple's done all the hard work for you because like iOS like is like seamlessly runs on all their versions already, so you don't have to like do anything as
Yeah,
a developer. I think that's what's happened.
unless you jailbreak iOS like Linus did in his recent video.
Yeah, but I think it still works properly though
Hmm.
for like games and things. So.
Anyway, I've been talking about how Slay the Spire is the perfect mobile game because I've been every time I'm on my mobile, I stream Slay the Spire from my PC to my phone through Steam Remote Play. I'm like, it already works perfectly just without setting anything up through Steam Remote Play, playing it on my phone. So I can only imagine
How good it'll be
playing it
now.
on iOS would be fucking amazing because I can play it anywhere then. Because it came out on Switch as well, but I don't own a Switch. Don't you
And that
guys
these
have
things will work
phones?
on the iPhone SE, the original
iPhone SE
16.
2016, I think, is when it came out. And then there's, of course, the iPhone SE 2020 that's
Yeah.
coming out because they gave them the exact same fucking name. Anyway, Kingdom of Amalur Remaster is coming out. It was leaked by the Microsoft Store. It's called Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, which I think is a fucking awesome name for it.
Okay, I'm still gonna say though, it's still a confusing game title for a game. Like you can just like swap them random, like you know, oh, yeah, that's probably called that. Like Reckoning of Amalur Kingdom still works.
Hmm. But it originally released in 2012. I know that I've personally played the demo of this game and I own it. And now a game I've had in my backlog for the past 8 years is now getting remastered. So, I don't know.
Probably a backlog for me
Yeah.
as well.
My backlog's so long that games in it are getting remastered. That's how much stalling I'm doing on playing my games.
Yeah, it is a problem.
Um, I think it's just like a HD version, basically. I don't think they did much to the gameplay. It just seems like they just remastered the graphics. It just says improved graphic fidelity. So I have to learn more about it. Sega is making another re-release of a console. They're
what is this shit?
For the 60th anniversary of Sega, they are announcing the Game Gear Micro.
Yeah, again, what is this shit? I don't understand. Why is it so small? What am I supposed to do with this?
You can put it in your pocket and play Sonic.
Uh,
That's what it's for.
Can I?
Guess.
Have you seen how small it is?
I feel like I
could eat that.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be able to play on something that small, but I guess. But I like small phones, so maybe.
Right, well, you buy it and tell me how it goes. So.
I don't think I would use it though. I've got my Chinese bootleg Game Boy. What do I need this shit? I've got over 500 games of the same game in different names. I've got Donkey Kong Man Jump 6, so I don't need this. Right,
well, neither do I, so...
Anyway, let's go into the main news and then wrap it up. If you remember, I talked about on the Steam store, there was a mysterious HP headset that was made in relation with Microsoft and Valve. So this is the HP Reverb G2. It is a 4K 90 Hz VR headset. It's using it has integrated Valve audio, so it has the speakers that don't quite go on your ears but give you that very much sounds like it's coming from the room audio quality. It has Valve's indexed lenses, and it has touch-like controllers, and it has an IPD slider similar to the index as well, which is quite important for tracking, in VR to make stuff not blurry and stuff like that. Make sure it's a good distance away from your eyes. And it's going to be $600. So where this fits into the price hierarchy of headsets. So the Oculus Rift S is probably the cheapest version for a PC touch controller kind of headset. The Oculus Rift S is 1440p 80 hertz, and with 360 tracking, that is £400. I would say for me personally, I think 90 hertz should be the minimum for motion sickness. We were saying like earlier, I think resolution sells products in VR better than refresh rate, but I think that's more to do with the consumers not having a general understanding of refresh rate compared to resolution. I think resolution is more tangible to the consumer than refresh rate is.
Sorry.
And then we'll look at the next one. So the Oculus Quest is 3,200 times 1440p. That's £400. The Oculus Quest is the headset that I suggest to most people to get because it has the inside-out tracking. You don't have to plug it into a computer.
Is that one you can plug in a computer though?
So, Oculus Quest just received a software update.
Right.
So you can use it plugged into a PC with a USB 2.0 cable, like the one that comes in the box. Because before, you would need a USB 3.0 cable, which wasn't included. And it was called the Oculus Link cable, and the one they sold on their website was £80.
$79.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So I personally think the Oculus, but with it wasn't it was a software update.
Yeah.
So you can now use the cable that comes inside the case to plug your Oculus Quest into your PC. So it's a lot less janky now. They do say that the 3.0 cable, the link cable, is the best way to do it, but it's now possible with the 2.0 cable.
Yeah.
So if you want the higher fidelity connection, you can buy the link cable. I think Quest might be the best value headset right now, although it is 72 refresh rate, 72 hertz. So it's a little low for me, but
yeah.
For example, I Expect You to Die, one of my favorite VR games, has made $2 million in sales just exclusively on the Oculus Quest platform. Just for Oculus Quest alone. So that just goes to show you like how many people own the Oculus Quest and like want an Oculus Quest. Going back to comparing this headset, so this would fit just above the Oculus Quest. This is the HP Reverb G2, $600, so around £486. And then if you wanted to step up to get the Vive Cosmos, that is the 2,880 times 7070, 90 hertz. That's around £700. We were talking about that a couple of months ago, where I was saying like the Vive Cosmos is kind of the step down from the Index that's in stock sort of thing. And then if you wanted to buy the most expensive VR headset, you can of course buy the Valve Index, which has the 4K 140 hertz refresh rate with the 144 hertz experimental mode for £919, which is low stock. So
I realized. So I was saying, I realize it's not like the same thing at all. But like, where would you rate like the PS4 VR? Like on this?
I don't really know where to rate that because
I was just looking at it. Apparently, it has a refresh rate of 120 to 90 hertz, depending on what the game.
See, it's not true. I've talked about this before.
No,
it's like
not.
A technology
it's really
that's like splitting the. It's not a true 90 hertz refresh sort of thing.
Okay, but I thought like people looking into like it may not be a true refresh rate, but like it was good enough for like it was like it removed the same or almost the same level as like the seasickness or motion sickness.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know enough about the PSVR.
I've tried it.
I can talk about PC headsets, but outside of PC, the only headsets the headsets I use: the Oculus Dev Kit 2, the original Vive, the Oculus Go, and yeah, I think that's it. Those are the headsets.
It just seems to be a lot cheaper. So,
but for me, from everything I've seen for the price point, I think the Oculus Quest is probably the best value for money for what you're getting.
Yeah, I think
it seems to make the most sense.
PC stuff, definitely.
Because you have a PC headset and you have an outdoor headset where you can play Beat Saber or whatever. Yeah. So the real question you're asking yourself, going back to the HP Reverb G2, is £100 or $150 worth having the Valve lenses and the Valve headphones over a Quest? And having is $100 worth Valve lenses, Valve headphones, and 18
Aren't the
more
lenses really good, though?
having the 90 refresh rate instead of the
Yeah.
72. And if the answer to that question is yes, then you should get the HP reverb. But if the answer is no, I don't have an extra £100. Maybe you want to look at the Oculus Quest. That would be just from what I'm.
I
thinking.
will say that I think for me personally, I think the extra money is worth it, and I think the index is a lot of money, but then like this isn't as ridiculous.
This is more of a mid-range
yeah
thing,
and I think I prefer this.
And you're still getting the IPD slider. You're still getting the Valve quality speakers. You're still getting the Valve quality lenses. So that's really good.
I think it's good.
Anyway, let's move on. The Xbox Beta Store on PC has added mod support for games, including design tweaks. So you can now. Previously, Microsoft Store games were unmoddable. You couldn't mod them at all. But now, thanks to this integration, you can now mod games through Game Pass. So Dirt Rally 2.0, FTL Faster Than Light, State of Decay 2 Juggernaut Edition, Mud Runner, and Riverbound all have mod support, which is really cool to see. I think the Xbox Game Pass for PC is really cool. So it's cool to see they're adding another feature like mod support. So that's really cool. And also, speaking of Microsoft, Windows 10's new update is adding DirectX 12 Ultimate. So if you don't know what DirectX 12 Ultimate is, it's going to have built-in support for ray tracing, variable rate shading, so that's the ability to simulate certain chunks of the environment that don't require so much detail as the other part of the scene to help boost performance, and of course mesh shaders. These, of course, were available before, but it's kind of bundling them together and making it a lot easier for developers to use it. And also, as well, outside of gaming for the Windows 10 update, you now have the ability to name your desktops. You can customize the overlay for your Xbox game bar. You now can. It's much easier to pair your Bluetooth devices. You may be interested in that, Tony.
Can I have a question? Yeah. Okay. The name. Okay. The pairing of Bluetooth devices is really good. I actually wish it switched over to Bluetooth devices quicker. I don't actually have a problem. My issue is like, have you ever tried that the different desktops?
No, I don't use multiple desktops.
So I do. It doesn't save it. I wish it would try and save it and then try and reload the apps when you like relaunch it. That'd be really.
Well, you'll have to try out the new Windows 10 update then and see if that helps. And then the final one that might be interesting for you. The GPU temperature is now shown in Task Manager on the Performance tab. So you can now natively in Windows check your GPU temperature.
That's really cool.
Thanks to this new update. So that's
Windows 10's like Ethernet and like GPU stuff.
I saw like a post the other day. It's talking about how Task Manager might be the best app that Windows has ever made, because even the amazing thing about it is it runs outside of like any of your other app. It's not an app. It's like built into Windows.
Yeah.
There's even ways to get it to reset itself.
In Windows 7, the Task Manager like used resources even if you have it running like minimized. In Windows 10, you minimize it, like it completely removes itself from like looking. It's
running on a special mode to not use any of your resources and stuff.
It's really good.
Task Manager is amazing. It's one of the best things ever made. If you want to look more into it, just look up. I think there was a recent article on PC Gamer about the developer behind the Task Manager, talking about all the hidden features behind it.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do with that.
Last week, what did we do? We did an Eric Andre tweet. So I was like, we ran out of Peter Molyneux tweets. So
did I still write it in the timestamp as a Peter Molyneux tweet though? Or
maybe, probably, I guess. This week I picked a Mark Laidlaw tweet. If you don't know, Mark Laidlaw is one of the writers behind Half-Life, and he said on Twitter this week, the Source engine was originally called the Sauce engine, as in SAUSE, as in a tomato sauce. But Gabe back then had a thick New York accent, and wherever he referred to the Source engine, people thought he was saying sauce.
Sauce.
So it stuck. Anyway, how is it? Anyway, now it truly is the Source engine. I think that's in reference to the shaders, maybe.
Wait, this game. Gabe's not from New York, as far as I know. He spent no time there, but for years he was studying. Oh, okay.
For years, Gabe spent no time in New York. He was studying Tuvian throat singing techniques, and at the end of the time, he ended up with the New York accent. It was really weird. So maybe this should just be game developer tweets, this section, because I just thought that was really interesting information about Gabe Newell and how the Source engine got its name.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see if what Dave and Andy thinks of this, but I kind of like the idea of this section being we just end with a game developer.
And he's linking me a YouTube video at the end of the.
Oh,
okay, it's relevant. It's relevant. I'll play it.
Oh.
And then we'll end the podcast because I know we need to get going.
We do.
Achieved with
Source. I've got to get outside.
Achieved with Source. Okay, that's a good video. Thank you, Andy, for that. Have to save that one.
So I use a submission.
Yeah, I use submission from Andy. But that's the end of the podcast. Go to the outro screen. You can check us out and everything in between podcast on YouTube, twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch live, and at Scorn2000 on Twitter if you want to keep updated with all gaming news and when the VODs will be going up. That is the end of the podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.